Welcome to this edition of Practical Assertion. Thank you for joining us, and please help us spread the word and change perspectives by sharing this video with your friends, family, and coworkers, by subscribing to our YouTube channel, which is shown on your screen, and by sharing your comments on our blog page at www.asert-usa.com/blog. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Kim_N_James with the hashtag Practical Assertion. This week, I want to share a thought on a subject that each and every one of us is familiar with, though for most, uncomfortable in, and that is change. I've entitled this segment, "A Change is Gonna Come." There are several directions that I could take this discussion, one being an in-depth look at the process of change, which, by the way, is a fascinating topic, and the other is our reaction to changes that come our way. I will leave the former for another time, so let's discuss the changes that come our way. I was inspired to this topic as I noticed the trees in my neighborhood. At this time of year, the trees are in different phases where some are leafless, some still have leaves but they are brown or some other color, and still others are as green and full of leaves as they are in the summer months. I was intrigued as I noticed the difference, and my counselor mode began to make an analogy to the different clients that come by to talk. As I considered the trees that are leafless, I made the correlation to those individuals who, due to the changes in their lives, appear to be lifeless, even dead looking. Others, like the trees with brown leaves, in my mind are equivalent to those who are near the end of their rope and are barely hanging on. And finally, the evergreen trees resemble those individuals who, no matter what is going on in their lives, they are full of life and optimism. As I think about this scenario, I'm reminded of a song performed a long time ago by Sam Cooke entitled "A Change is Gonna Come." Any and everybody who has lived more than 13 years knows all too well that changes in life will come. Those below 13 years are also familiar with changes, but are not necessarily challenged unless it is a traumatic event. Psychologists will tell you that one of the things that we fight is change. While there are many reasons for this, the one thing about change that is so troubling is that it causes us to experience the feeling of being off balance. You see, though our lives, our current situations, may not be the greatest, at least I know what to expect. There's a sense of comfort due to our familiarity with the circumstance. This, by the way, may explain why those individuals who are in abusive environments or relationships find it difficult to leave. By the way, if you are viewing this video and are in an abusive relationship, please know that there is a better life. Well, back to the trees, because there is a powerful lesson to be learned from the trees. Now, while I am not a botanist or an arborist, those trained in the care of trees and shrubs, I happen to know that trees that remain full of green leaves are referred to as evergreens. Those trees that lose their leaves or whose leaves change colors are classified as deciduous, from the Latin word that means to fall down or off. I'm sure that you know where this is going, right? The very obvious question for you is, which category would you say that you fall into? Are you like the trees with no leaves resembling dead? Are you like the trees whose leaves are brown, corresponding to being near death and at the end of your rope and barely hanging on? Or do you classify yourself as being an evergreen, the epitome of life and thriving no matter what? As you look at this picture, did you notice that each of the trees are in the exact same ground? Closer attention to the photograph will reveal that the trees are actually right next to each other. Wow, I bet you missed that upon your first glance, huh? That being said, it should be obvious to you that it really doesn't matter what your environment is, but what you're made of that makes the difference. Oh, that's good right there, don't you think? That's powerful. So what's the practical application for this edition of Practical Assertion, you ask? Well, here goes. As Sam Cooke said in his song, "A Change is Gonna Come," on this you can be assured. These changes can either break you or cause you to fall down or off, or they can make you stronger. Whether you are struggling in a bad relationship, bad job situation, family trouble, financial trouble, or double trouble, what you're made of will determine what you look like. As I close this edition out, let me remind you and encourage you to consider those same trees that look tore down right now. Wait another month or two and check them out then. While those with no leaves or brown leaves now look pretty awful and weak, they always come back in the spring. Do you know why? Are you ready for this? This is deep too, so here it goes. Oh, and by the way, what is really interesting about those deciduous trees is that the leaves fall off in order to preserve water during the cold, thus ensuring the well-being of the tree. They always come back because their roots sustain them during cold, hard times. If you find yourself withering and lifeless, maybe your roots don't go deep enough, or maybe you're trying to hold on to things that you need to leave alone. Did you get it? Let go of some leaves so that you can spring back to life. Let me know what you think, and please leave your comments as to which type of tree you are. We'll see you next week for another edition of Practical Assertion. Take care.